Hi everybody, I'm Martha and I'm the Customer Service Manager here at SILCA. Today I have a completely disassembled Pista Plus Floor Pump and I'm going to show you how to put it back together. So first I'm just going to quickly go over all the parts so you know what you should have. So first I have the pump base, which includes the gauge and the hose. I have the pump barrel, I have the piston rod, and then over here for the smaller parts I have an O-ring, the inner check valve assembly, I have 3 bolts, I have the barrel coupler, I have the top cap and 2 screws, and then for the leather gasket assembly I have 2 O-rings, I have the sliding bushing, a leather gasket, 2 metal washers, and a bolt. Now for tools, what you're going to need is a 13mm wrench. You're also going to need a 2mm Allen key as well as a 4mm Allen key. I also have just a couple parts for maintenance. I have the replacement gasket, which is the 242, as well as the replacement leather washer, which is the 731. I also have a little NFS pump lead to lubricate my new leather washer, and I have some gear wipes to clean everything up. So that's going to be my first step, is I'm going to clean all of the parts. Now this is important, especially if you've had your pump for a little while. You can have some buildup on the inner parts, which could be giving you some compression issues. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my gear wipes, and I'm going to give these little parts a clean. The main thing to focus on is going to be your check valve. You just want to make sure there's no buildup there, as well as just the parts around the leather gasket. You just want to make sure they're nice and clean. All right. All right, now that everything's clean, we can get started with reassembling. So the first thing you're going to want to secure into place is the piston barrel coupler. It's this big part right here. So it's going to need to end up right here at the base of the barrel, and you're going to want to secure it into place so that these 4 holes are facing down. So I'm going to put it through the top, and then I'm going to use my piston rod to push it down into place. Perfect. So I have it flush with the base of the barrel, just like it should be. So now that that's secured into place, I'm going to start focusing on the piston rod. So the first thing you're going to want to put on is the top cap. So just slide it up, out of the way. And now we can focus on our leather gasket assembly. So the first thing you're going to want to secure into place are these 2 O-rings. Now these protect your leather gasket assembly during the upstroke. They sort of act as a little bumper. So you're going to put both of those into place, just like that. Now the next thing you're going to want to put on is the sliding bushing, this right here. Now mine has a little space, but yours might have an O-ring already there. Mine also fell off while I was disassembling it, so I'm just going to put that into place right now. Perfect. Alright, so the next thing is going to be the leather gasket. Now, this one's in really good shape, so I won't need to replace it, but you may need to. So take this opportunity to inspect your leather gasket, make sure there are no micro tears around here or any creasing. This one's fine, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on the pump. Alright, so now that the leather gasket's on, I'm going to need to put on these 2 metal washers. Now these provide support to the leather gasket and help you get really good compression. And once those are on, you can put the nut into place. So once you have it finger tight, you're going to want to use your 13mm wrench. So just make sure it's really good and tight. You don't want that falling off. Perfect. Just a little bit tighter. Okay, great. So this is completely done, and I'm just going to put it into the pump barrel. All right, so next you're going to orient your top cap so that the holes are aligned and you can put on your screws. Now, at this point I'm going to take my gloves off because these screws are really tiny. And when I'm wearing my gloves, sometimes I lose them. All right, so grab your 2mm Allen key. All right, so now that it's looking a little bit more like a pump, the last thing I really need to do to the barrel is put in the inner check valve assembly. So you'll notice I have one O-ring left and that there's a little groove right here at the base, which is that exact size. So we're just going to put that into place first, just like that. And then I'm going to put in the inner check valve. So you're going to orient this so that the brass pin is facing the barrel. So, all right, so the next thing I need to do is put the base on, and it can be a little bit tricky because you're going to have to line up the holes for the bolts. So be patient with yourself. Okay, so I'm working on getting the holes aligned. But it may help if you shine a flashlight down, just so you can see really well. All right, I think I've got everything lined up. So I'm just going to grab my bolts one at a time and just hand tighten them so I can make sure it stays lined up properly. There we go. You can see it getting a little bit more secure. All right, so now that I have everything lined up and hand tightened, I'm going to come back along with a 4mm Allen key to just really tighten everything into place. All right, now that your pump's assembled, the last thing you might want to consider doing is replacing your old check gasket. Now, if you need to do that today, the replacement gasket you need is the 242. And to swap it out, all you're going to do is unthread the cap, remove the old gasket, perfect, and just install your new one by putting it right in the cap with the flat part flush against the cap. Thread it back into place, and you're done. All right, so that's how you reassemble your Pista Plus floor pump. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you tune in next time where we answer more of your questions.